Welcome to the Growing Old Disgracefully podcast. Another week. How are you, Ruth?
Good, thank you. I'm good. Just saying to you then that realise probably, although it would be breaking a age-old record of ours, I thought I probably should have prepped before I came to this podcast. But hey, we've managed it.
Yeah, it's overrated.
Yeah. But I did a podcast with a lovely lady recently, and she was like, "Oh, I love it, just chatting away." And I said, "I think sometimes there can be an element of over planning for things, and then you lose that natural conversation. So what Andy and I are trying to do here is just keep it real, just really, really
Yeah,
real."
keep it chilled, keep it chilled.
Exactly. How are you, Andy? More importantly,
I'm good. What's been on for yourself?
I've been busy. I'm making changes inside the no crap cake method. It feels like it's been changes that have been happening for a while, but it's like culminating in a lot of fiddly work now. So I've been generating images to use as the thumbnails, but I'm talking like hundreds of images. And I've been getting
Oof.
AI to help me so that they have the same look as the character and so on. And so my brain is just going to be dreaming about these weird thumbnails. So yeah,
It's going to be dreaming about thumbnails and absolutely buzzed.
and prompts for AI because I
Oh,
don't know. I was asking it to generate an image of someone doing a windmill exercise, that position. And it said it,
please don't tell me. Please don't tell me it sent you to the dodgy windmill.
well, this is what I didn't, I knew you'd know. It said that it broke policy things to ask it to do that position. And I was like, can you tell me why? And it said,
Amazing.
I can't tell you exactly why. But if you specified the exercise position windmill, it might help. And I was like, is windmill something else? I mean, I can know it's like, fighting. It's like, oh,
Do you
just
know?
windmill.
Do you know what it is?
I didn't look it up, Andy. So I have to be
So
honest, I don't think I do.
basically, if you're a man, you should be standing naked, and then you
I thought
windmill
that was
your
I thought that was the Willycopter.
well, the helicopter, same thing. That's the windmill. You can call it whatever you want. It's
Oh,
going round and it's going round in a circle.
oh well, innocent enough. I just, my mind went way other places.
Well, what the shit?
I was trying to think. I ended up. This is, I should be careful, like filter what I say. But the guy that's doing the web development side, I sent him a message saying, "I think there's another type of exercise." And he went, "If you say so." And I was like, I mean,
I do say so, but
I
not that
think,
one.
yeah. He was like, okay. But anyway, there we go. So yeah, my week's been a bit like that. What about yours? Nothing.
Yeah, just I was tutoring on a strength and conditioning course at the weekend.
Nice.
And so I was a bit broken on Monday, Tuesday because it was basically a weekend of coaching, snatch, and the clean and jerk. So yeah, so I was a bit broken this week in terms of how I feel. No, it's been a pretty good week so far. Had plenty done.
Do you do
Laura's got
much
quite a lot on
Olympic
her.
lifting yourself?
Nah,
No.
I did back in the day, like back sort of 10 years ago,
Mm.
15 years ago when I was doing my UKSCA stuff. But um, I think there are better exercises for building strength. There are better exercises for promoting power and speed and stuff as well.
Like a
So
kettlebell swing
um,
would probably give you quite a lot of the movement that, I mean, they're
mm,
not like perfect, but I
yeah,
think a bit safer than
yeah,
sometimes.
I think a lot of stuff is I think they get too bogged down in what they're trying to do at times, and like the Olympic lifts are great, but they also are quite a big time expenditure because they're obviously so intricate movements. You've got to coach them from the scratch. So it's there
With a
are
broomstick.
better there are and that, well, this is the thing. You can't really teach with a broomstick because there's no weight on it, so you can't really get
But you
yourself
can
into the
use
right
your,
position.
you can just lift it, which is
Yeah,
beside the point, I guess. During COVID, I did my strength and conditioning coaching qualification. But
yeah,
when I did it, as I was doing it, I was like, I don't think this is the best use of my time because I'm not going to be coaching the Olympic lifts. And
yeah,
I'm also not somebody that does Olympic lifting myself, But I know that like Claire Tracy, that's what she does, and
yeah.
she works with athletes, and that's great. But I I don't do them no, when I say I don't do them very often, Andy, I don't do them.
Yeah, I think they're good pieces. They're good exercises, and obviously, folk that do CrossFit and stuff will use them a lot. Um, but I think for me, there are much easier ways to promote power and strength than the Olympic lifts. And that's always going to be. It's just unfortunately how it is.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I think, well, I mean, they're good to be able to coach, I think, I guess, because it gets you looking at people's movement patterns. So, those coaches that what you were teaching at the weekend, I think you see so many people doing them quite badly and dangerously that
Yeah.
it's a good thing to learn, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a perishable skill though, because as I say, it's been a while since I've done them, and it was having to relearn it. It's interesting.
Well, that will be
You
why
do
you
get there
hurt.
quick. Yeah, you do get there quicker. To be fair, you don't take as long to get it, but yeah, it kind of awakens muscles that you remember that hurt the last time.
I know that we've spoken about this. I don't know if it's in this podcast or previous podcast. Newbie gains, and it's
Yeah,
where you see that progress quickly. Another thing, my husband's just started going back to the gym more regularly because he didn't go for a bit, and he's getting stronger very quickly. But that's partly because of the fact that he has got that, I guess, muscle memory in a sense there. So he has trained before, but also he's starting not again, not from completely, because you're never starting completely again, but it progresses quickly at the beginning. So you get that
yeah,
satisfaction quite a lot.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't go up weights every week now.
The newbie excuse me, newbie gains is the majority of newbie gains comes from your body being able to understand the movement pattern that you're working in and working the right muscles. So working muscle A, B, C rather than working muscle A, C, and then maybe thinking about B in the middle.
It's the
So those
stabilizing.
newbie gains, yeah, those newbie gains come from your body actually understanding how the movement works, and that's where the increase in weight and stuff in strength comes quite quickly. But as you say, however many years, however many years you are into your training now, you make smaller progress less often as well. And it's not a bad thing. It's just one of these things that happens.
But I mean, I feel like now at the moment, I'm training to keep my strength more than anything else.
Mm,
I think that it's always nice to get a bit stronger, and I do see that happen in certain movement patterns if I'm really focusing on that. But I'm happy if I'm keeping that strength,
yeah,
as well. But
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Always good. Always
Yeah,
good.
there we go. Well, look, Andy, I think we need to talk about it. I haven't watched it, so it feels like a bit of
I've not
a
watched it
fo-
either because I refuse to watch anything that the wanker's in. So
well, do you know, I've got an opinion, obviously. Um,
I wonder if anybody can guess who we're about to speak about when I've just called him the wanker.
yeah, big fan, aren't you? I genuinely believe that he has done this thinking he's doing the right thing, but it's so ill-informed, and it's.
Yeah, I would say that, but I would also look back at what he's also said in the past and be a bit like,
Well,
well, he talks a lot of shite quite a lot of the time.
do you just think he just doesn't like? I feel like he should have a team
I don't
behind
think he can
him.
read the room. I don't think he can read the room.
I think he's just
Like,
really easily influenced by other people.
yeah, I think so. I think uh, I'll tell you off podcast what I know about him,
Oh,
because
really? Oh, well, I'm
not
very interested.
not 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 applicable to be done in here.
Okay.
But yeah, so it does seem very easily led, and the fact that he keeps spouting out shit that's mainly the stuff that he's spouting out is shows the privilege that he has. Like
Well, I
the
know.
stuff that pop. Well, let's name names first. So it's as most people will probably guess already. Joe X has launched a protein bar and
The
used
killer bar.
some shock marketing tactics, calling it the killer bar, because it's ultra processed. It's going to give you cancer and kill you basically. And there's just so much
He's,
more information that you need to put out there than that.
well,
That's not the information that's needed.
and also, fear mongering is not a good approach because people will be worried about this. But, if you're focusing on what you're eating in your meals, and even if it's the 80-20, even if 80% of your food is like spot on and 20% is not, okay, it's still pretty good. But, often we're picking on the 1% thing, and we're choosing to fear and say what we can't have. Whereas if we just focused on all the things we want to include, then those things don't really matter as much because we're going to be having them less anyway. Like if you're living your
Yeah,
diet on just that. But he did say something a little while back about he did that sugar. He cut out all sugar. And then weirdly, he said it's because sugar is addictive, and that he had this binge on it afterwards. But obviously, you and I know, Andy, and the research backs up that if you restrict something, you tend to then overeat it. So it's a binge restrict cycle. So when you
yeah,
overly restrict something, you tend to then have this,
yeah.
thing. So
It's
he's just
and
proven our point.
the other thing with the ultra processed foods. Sophia Harris put this up. She does a lot of really interesting stuff with her
Apollo
nutrition,
Nutrition.
etc. Yeah, Apollo Nutrition. Well, this is some of the stuff that she popped up. The shows UPFs could be contributing factors to poor health outcomes, but UPFs alone increase chance of early death by around 4%, only when someone is consuming 100% ultra processed food diet.
Yeah.
He's
No,
totally missed it here. Like
he's
he's one of these guys. If you were back in the 1700s, he'd be the first person at the Salem witch trials trying to burn people. That's what he would be.
Well, he's an opportunist because obviously he's
Yeah,
working. I read the book Ultra Processed People a while back because I was interested in it. And if you read that book, you will think that anything with, that's been ultra processed, and sometimes it's just the ingredients are things they put into preserve. So if you were to look at the back of a jar of olives, which are preserved in brine, in theory,
yeah,
that could be an ultra processed food, but then you're comparing it to the label on a bar of chocolate, for example. They're not created equal. One's going to have more nutrients in, one you might have in your
yeah.
diet a little bit more, but you've got this kind of broad, like clean everything out. It's not ideal. I forgot what I was going to say about the Joe Wicks thing. Oh, that was it. It's a Joshua. I'll get his name in a minute, but this NHS doctor, and he was saying before we start talking about that kind of 1% of issue, can we start talking about like food inequality first? The fact that people might be relying on some ultra processed foods to survive because they cannot afford to live in the
Yeah.
way that Joe Wicks is promoting here.
And this is the privilege side of stuff. So something else that he said in the past was that he said that women should bounce back from postpartum because his wife did it in 3 months. That we also that not forgetting the fact that his wife probably doesn't work. She probably has a nanny for her other kids. She'll have a physio on demand at all times. She'll probably have somebody doing the cooking for her. She'll generally have nothing to stress about in life.
And yeah,
Whereas somebody who is normal, somebody who's living a normal life, has a baby, woman female has a baby, also has to look after another two kids, juggle a job, juggle cooking for the other kids, whilst also trying to feed the baby and everything else that goes with it. Like you cannot throw people under the bus, and that's what he did. And it just for me just stinks of privilege and somebody who just doesn't understand the world that he's living in. You're not in we're not in a world where everybody's as well off as that. You know,
I
especially with
think
ultra, as you mentioned, ultra processed foods. You know, how many people are now struggling with cost of living crisis or having to use more processed foods because it's cheaper, longer life, and easier to deal with.
yes,
So
I think everyone likes people to acknowledge whether it's easier or harder. And I think that, for example, I'm always going to be saying it's easier for me with my job to be able to get in a strength training session. I am a personal trainer. Of course it's easier. I think even just acknowledging that, going, we'll find ways to make it easier for you so that it fits with your life. But I'm not going to say that we've all got the same 24 hours in a day. And he might not be doing it on purpose, but that feels like it's what it's implying. But I don't know.
for me, it's the privilege stuff that just does my nut in. Like, He doesn't realise that he is in that top 1% of people that can basically do what the fuck they want, and they don't have to worry about any consequences across the board because, he's financially set, he's got everything he needs to do, and sadly, he needs to realise that not everybody's in the same boat as that. In
Yeah.
fact, the other 99.9% of the population aren't in the same boat as that. So he has to his messaging needs to be better. And in fact, somebody should be sitting him down and going, "Sure, this is the right way that you want to attack this."
That's what I don't understand. Like, what, why aren't his team saying something? I was talking to a client, I've got a really lovely one-to-one client, Faye, who, I would say, like, she said to me, I hope that you would consider me the person as well that would say, don't do that. And when I put a post up a little while ago, and she was like, this is one that you need to run past, because I think she was joking about it, but I think it might have been the one where my husband was trying to take this sweaty sports bra off, She was like, this is one you need to run past your team, And it started,
Yeah,
this joke with her, because of talking about Joe Wicks and saying, like, he should have people around him. He goes, oh, I was thinking about doing this. And they go, no, don't. That's completely off brand. Did you know that you used to actually give discounts for people to go to My Protein and buy all of the different things there, And now you're
I
saying you're not
think
for it. I mean, you can
I
change your
think
mind,
the
of course.
issue I think the issue with a lot of that kind of stuff is though is as well that it's sadly what's going to make the most money for him. He's probably on the fact about helping people now. It's still about making money, and that's
I mean, it's a
basically where we're at
business.
now.
Mm. I and
Yeah,
like,
he is now a business. He's not like us trying to help people navigate busy lives and stuff like that. He doesn't need to do that anymore. And don't get me wrong, the guy's done a lot for the industry.
yeah, with
Kept
PE.
people moving and stuff during COVID, etc. And all these things. But I think the problem it's the same with a lot of these people. There's a thing at the moment in comedy where a lot of outspoken comedians about freedom of speech have decided to go and do a comedy show in Saudi Arabia where they're basically being curated into what they can say. So money talks, bullshit walks, sadly, and that's the way life works. And it just should. It's one of those ones. I have to be honest. I've never liked him. I thought he's always been a prick, and it's just I'm now sitting going, is everybody now starting to see what I was seeing back? Yeah,
Well,
no, finally.
I actually think that you're right in the sense that this is what he's always been like. I don't think he's changed that much. I think the world
No,
has changed around him. And now we are more aware of those other things. If we think that when Joe Wicks started doing the body coach, we're talking probably 15 years ago, probably.
yep,
And 15 years ago was only just after probably Biggest Loser was on and those types of things. And the language around like his lean in 15 and like 90-day shred type things. It was all about getting quick results, really. The language was
yeah.
about like eat clean and things like that. And I hope more people are. I mean, obviously there are people that aren't, but the people that are doing well now tend to be the people that see it as a balanced approach, a holistic approach, that it's the whole body and you've got other things going on as well. Or they understand that they don't understand. Like I'm thinking now, Alice Living is pretty big on things, but she has had her own issues, I believe, with food in the past. So she shows healthy recipes and so on, but she's not going to weigh in with that. She'll get experts in to talk about that. And I think a lot of the other people that are doing well have realised that that's not their area and they stay in their lane. And I think what's happened is Joe Wicks, the times have changed and probably his views haven't. And he's influenced by other things.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind him. I have somewhere got a very old picture of me with Joe Wicks, because I was in Waterloo Station. I think it was Waterloo Station, and I'm talking like 10 years ago. It would have been about 10. Yeah, 9, 10 years ago, and he was filming, or he was just his stuff being filmed by somebody, not like a proper camera crew or anything. And I walked past him, and would have been before he met his wife and things like that, pre-kids. And I was like, "Oh, hello, can we just grab a photo?" And he was like, "Yeah, no worries." And he was really nice and did that. And the photo was awful, blurry, awful. But I just thought it was quite funny, and my kids were really embarrassed. And I don't know why I did that. I guess he seemed like approachable, but that would have probably been a day back in the days where I probably would have listened 10 years ago. Yeah, I would have probably listened
Yeah,
to
and
Joe Wicks.
it's one of those things. As I say, he's done plenty to help the industry. Unfortunately, the messaging that he's putting out at the moment's doing nothing but demonising stuff. And the problem that you have is there's a couple of ways to look at this. You can demonise things. Tobacco's been demonised. Does it stop people smoking? No, they know that it's bad for them. They just haven't stopped. Some of them will. Most of them just be like, "Fuck it, I'm not bothered." You can do it that way. You can try and you can try and you can try and sort of guilt people to do it, and all that
Doesn't
does is it just
work.
makes them go the opposite way as well. Or you can do it the right way and teach them and teach people and when things change, you need to change with it. So something that I got. I remember one of my old lecturers, a quote that he'd said was, the younger you are in the industry, the more you try to show off what you know. The older I get in the industry, the more I try to tell people how much I don't actually know, because everything changes so much,
Never
and
done learning.
it seems to me that he's stuck. He's basically stuck. He's stuck in the past. He's stuck 10 years ago when he was first started getting big, and he's not really been reading any research since, apart from cherry picked studies by people that he feels
I don't.
that are
I don't think he
so.
read research before. I think that's part of. I
No,
don't think necessarily he's one of those people, and I don't think you like. There are people that just aren't into doing that, and it's fine. But then you need to make sure that somebody is on your team is checking the
yeah,
research. There was something, in my head today. I keep kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to say that, and then like, poof, just goes. But I had a thought then, and now it's just completely gone. That I was going to say it will come back to me in a minute, and it will be a completely different topic. But oh, that was it. I've remembered. I've remembered, Andy. I was thinking about how what you were saying about educating, but more than that, it's not just kind of telling people this is what you should be doing. I'm going to educate you. It's understanding their behaviors, understanding why they might be doing it that way, making understanding. And the only thing I can think of
mm,
is in Barbados when we were there, and it was COVID times, and they were putting out the vaccine, and there was quite a lot of people that didn't want to take the vaccine over there. And rather than talk to the people and find out their reasons why they might be reluctant to, and try and understand, they just kind of almost started just telling them, you have to blah blah blah, and then it almost just made people put their foot down and go, you can't make me.
yeah.
And that does tend to happen with things like this. It's trying to find out reasons why people might be reluctant.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with, like, I don't do politics and I never will do politics, but it's the same. One of the reasons why Brexit happened was because, regardless of whether you were a Remainer or a Leaver, whatever it was, the problem was that you had a bunch of parties who wanted to leave Europe telling everybody lots of information. Whether that information was right or not is doesn't matter. But the problem is the opposition. So the opposition to the Leavers didn't try to educate anybody. They never stood up and they never told them why what the opposite side were doing wasn't right. And it was as if they felt that people should know. And we need to realize that that's not how this works. We need to educate people. It's leading the horse to water. You need to like lay it out in a way that everybody can understand it, and also realize that other people understand it differently across the board, and be able to change it to change it to suit how they are going to listen to it.
It's a danger that we, like, you and I would probably fall into doing this, because I think when you're surrounded in if you're in an industry, you can assume that everyone sees and knows and talks about the same things. And actually,
Mm,
it's not going to be what they're seeing necessarily. And so therefore, you almost need to have an assumption that people know very little and then be surprised that they know more. And I'm not saying
yeah,
that because I'm saying that people don't know it. I'm saying that there's so many things I don't know and I wouldn't know because they're not in the world that I live in. And if people were coming to
yeah,
talk to me about it, they'd have to talk to me almost like I am a child and explain it to me in
exactly.
basic terms and assume I know nothing and tell me from there. Thanks very much. And I
Yeah,
probably could do with remembering that more when I am talking to people about the things we talk about, that
Yeah,
actually, I mean, we tend to have people that have been following us and people like us for a while. So I feel like the women I work with are pretty, well informed, and
yeah,
they take time to learn and so on. But that even then, it might be that they're like, "Oh, I can't ask. I should probably know that." Never. There's
yeah.
never a stupid question,
No,
is there? I
no,
don't
it's
know.
the
This
same
is
thing as, it's the
not quite
same
Joe
thing though
Wicks, isn't
as
it?
you, yeah, it's the same thing though as, you know, when you're working with somebody, you're going to have different ways of speaking to them. So I have some clients who have no interest in the mechanics of an exercise. They just need to know stand up, like squat, stand up, squeeze your backside. That's all you need to know. That's all
Yeah.
that you need to know. Whereas I've got another client who's an engineer and is a very high level engineer, and he likes to know all the mechanical side of stuff. So when you're doing this, your ankles are starting to pitch forward, your knees are moving wide, and it's allowing your hips to travel downwards rather than forwards. So he likes to know the whole shebang. So it's being able to pitch that knowledge at a level that you can do it to with everybody you work with, because not everybody's going to understand it the same way.
And actually, I was listening to a book ages ago, and I forget which book, but they were talking in it about how they got like the top person in a field to go and talk to these like undergraduates about a theory or whatever, and then they got somebody that had just learnt it to go and teach it, and the person that's better at teaching it was actually not the top guy. It was the one that had just learnt it themselves and would go in. And I sometimes used to think when I was teaching, I wasn't like A-star pupil in school. Like things didn't, or I had to
Mm.
kind of think and learn. And I used to think, I wonder if I understand the children that are going, hang on, I don't quite understand that, so I need to work that out again, more than perhaps a teacher that's always found it easy. I don't know. Don't
How
know.
many, how many, how many new fitness professionals have you seen content who is aimed at actually the people they're trying to work with?
No, they're
Most
coaches.
of most of their content is aimed at trying to be highbrow, so that they're trying to get that ego bump of a like from somebody who's a top level coach. That's the wrong, we need to realize that, we're not trying to impress people at the same level as us. We're trying to impress people who have got less knowledge than us in the industry, who are potentially going to work with us because we are sadly, we have got a good knowledge. Not sadly for me, you 100%, but like I'm brain dead most of the time.
I
But
mean, my
you know
head
what I mean?
today, Andy,
We
I can't
work
even
at
remember what I'm saying.
but you've got to kind of remember that you have to aim the information that you're making at the people who it's going to help, and speaking above them and speaking above their. I remember this. I walked into a Pure Gym once, and it was there was this little old lady. She must have been sort of early 60s, and she already looked like a rabbit in the headlights being in a gym. It was obviously one of her first times in a gym. She's always been told that she needs to go and lift some weights, and this personal trainer was literally talking above the level that she could even comprehend. Like he was talking about glute 4, mTOR, and I'm just like, do you realize what you're doing to this poor woman? Like she's going to leave and she's never going to come back to the gym again. You freaked her out so badly, she's never coming back. Like, and he was doing it to sort of make himself look good, and you're just like, come on, man, like that's not the
It's not
level you need to
about
be
you.
speaking at.
No.
Yeah, and it's not about us. And I think for me, that's the one thing that Joe Wicks needs to realize. This isn't for him. And he
No,
seems to think that it's all about him still, and it's not. It's not the case at all.
it's
So
hard.
yeah,
I can appreciate where he's coming from. I haven't put the podcast out, but I was chatting to this other coach earlier, and she was saying about, like obviously people want fat loss, not obviously, but some people do want fat loss, others don't. But if I put out a post on Instagram about something I'm really, really passionate about, about the fact that we don't need to have that all or nothing mindset.
yeah,
It's like what's he call it? Like I keep struggling with the word, like not thistle down, but like a tangle. Oh, like hair just blowing in the wind, dog. I
yeah,
forgot what yeah, anyway, you know what I mean. It's like that. But if I put out something that just says 3 fat loss mistakes that you're making,
yeah,
and so a little bit of me is like, so I can see that you want people to read it. And obviously when I'm writing that, I will make sure that what is included is true. But I do wonder whether Joe Wicks maybe gets swayed by what is popular rather than what is right.
I think it's, do
Maybe
you know what? I don't even think it's what is popular. I think it's
it's
just what's going
extreme.
to make money.
Well, I think
I think
people
it's
like
what's going to make money
extremes.
for him.
Yeah, people like
Yeah.
extremes, and the middle ground is actually where the best bit happens, unfortunately. I was the dumb person
It's
yesterday,
also
Andy.
but it's also the boring bit. This is
Yeah,
where we don't understand. It's the boring bit. He's using all this shock marketing and stuff to freak people out. That's not where you need to.
no,
We need to realize that it's the majority of what we do is pretty mundane.
yeah. But it
It's
fits with
the
life,
fitness.
and that means that you can keep doing it.
Yeah,
Mm.
100%. It's boring, but it works, and
I mean,
that's
there's a
why.
reason
So
why most people are doing it, and that's the thing you've
yeah,
got to. I don't. Again, you have to remember with the algorithm that what you and I are seeing, these coaches speaking out against what Joe Wicks is saying, that's what we're seeing. But probably what the majority of his followers might be seeing, him. Other ultra posters, other people doing the same, the glucose goddess, these types of people coming and talking about the extremes. And it's a real shame because I genuinely believe that it's this language that has led us to be stuck in this all or nothing mindset. And
yeah.
it's about way more, so much more than that. If we want to be stronger, happier, healthier, and just feel good, we need to go into that middle area, that look at our life and what we can manage long term.
It's the same. It's the same around the board. Politics, you name it. We're all polarized at the moment, and if we all met a little bit closer in the middle, we'd probably all get on a lot better, and it'd
Yeah.
be a nicer place. The world would be a nicer place to live. But sadly, that's not what sells at the moment, is it? You've got to polarize yourself to make money, and it's something that I'm really not willing to do. I'll kind of sit in the middle ground and
Well, I'm
quite happily just tell people how it is. So yeah.
well, I'm just hoping, Andy, that enough people will want the truth and to be spoken to like they are grown-ups and that they understand and to reflect and so on. And I'm hoping that I called it gentle brainwashing once, and the lady that didn't find it funny was like, well, no, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm joking, but I mean, if you
But I'm
have
also not because you're kind of right.
I think it is. So if I basically feel like this is what happened to me over the years by surrounding myself with people that are saying sensible things and from reading books and making sure I follow people that are doing, surrounding
Yep.
myself, there's just been an element of gentle brainwashing. So those extremes, they don't come on, they're not followed by me. They're not entering my life because I don't want them in my life.
Yeah.
I can talk about them with you, but I'm not going to be engaging in it much because I have managed to curate a nice brainwashing environment for myself and those around me.
Yeah.
But
That's it.
actually, yesterday, Andy, I did a podcast with a very good friend who is a gynecologist, and that was one of those things that I think I needed to get her to really speak to me like I was a child. And then I have
Yeah,
my podcast with
definitely.
you, where we don't plan it. We come on, we talk about Joe Wicks and see where
And
that
see what
takes us.
happens.
Yeah, well, a lot because there he is polarizing everything. It really feels
Yes.
like everything is polarizing. And you know what? I've been thinking about GLP-1s again, and I have decided because I was like, I kept thinking about it and going, I don't really have a problem with GLP-1s. I don't. A lot of
Hmm.
coaches are talking badly about them, and then it suddenly dawned to me. Well, of course they're going to be telling you that they are the devil because of the fact that it will stop them from making money if they're selling fat loss. But if you're a coach who is looking at the middle ground and you want people to just be healthier, then if that is the right approach for them, that's medical. I don't know enough about the medicine itself. But what I do know is that doctors who are working with people who are taking GLP-1s, who are prescribed GLP-1s, always say do it alongside strength and nutrition changes like eating protein because like any
Yeah.
extremely low calorie diet, you will lose muscle mass if you do not do those things. And I was like, if you aren't trying to just get a quick fix and you
Yeah.
genuinely want to feel good, feel healthier, then the things that we're talking about doing for fat loss, like eating more protein and moving your body and strength training and so on, they apply whatever method or however many calories you're deciding to eat. regardless if your goal is more than thin. And I think I was like, oh yeah, some people are taking GLP-1s will have a goal of just genuinely feeling better. Those that
Yep.
are going for the extreme, I don't want to change anything, I just want to lose weight quickly, unfortunately, and obviously they're very, very overweight and they medically need to lose weight because of health, it's different. But if they've got like just a little bit to lose, those people, if they just don't change anything apart from the amount of calories they're having, they're going to be thin and still not very healthy. And that's not going to have them feeling their best long term, if we're talking long term.
Yeah.
So actually, the goal, regardless, whatever approach you take, do it so that you feel good while you're doing it and so that it can have you feeling good in the future as well.
Yeah.
Alas, that's it. But we like extremes and we like quick fixes.
That's it. Quick fixes, extremes seems to be the kind of buzzwords of the world, isn't it?
Well, my husband made a good point when I was chatting to him about this earlier. He was like, if somebody waved a magic wand and said, if you could be absolutely jacked, this was his, because obviously he's a man, absolutely jacked tomorrow, but you'd have half the amount of strength, would you take it? And he was like, I think I would.
Yes, of course you would.
But that's the same with people that have been told for women, saying you aren't going to be as healthy, but you're going to be really thin tomorrow. And they'll be like, I'll deal with the health later. You know, I get it. It's exactly the same.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's it.
But there we go. But dealing with it all at the same time is probably the best sensible idea. Is your little boy still asleep?
Always fun. Yes, he is. He's still napping at the moment. He went down quite quickly, which was good. So, yeah.
Yeah, about an hour before you thought he would.
I know, normally he's like 1:30. But actually, by the time I got home, he was out by 1:05. I was like, yes, happy days.
Yeah, is that a rugby shirt that you're wearing, Andy?
The Lions rugby shirt.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, I didn't know if I always think of you as being more football.
Yeah, I am, but I do quite like it. I do like a rugby shirt. I just find a football shirt's fine if you're playing football, but a grown adult wearing a football top that's not at a football game or playing football
with somebody else's name on the back.
Yeah, nah. Unless you're playing football, nah. So yeah. Aye.
I mean, I haven't owned a football shirt. Well, I think somebody bought me an NFL shirt once when we were kind of going through that stage.
It's kind of similar thing, isn't it?
I didn't wear it because
nobody else outside of America actually understands American football. That's why.
Well, I just would only watch the highlights. I'm going to be honest, because it's quite a long game, and then they show you
a 4-hour game that plays really for 60 minutes. Nah, I'm not up for that. Like.
So you watch the highlights, and then they explain what's going on during it, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
That's what I need in football matches. Normal, rugby.
Easy using.
Well, that's what's happened. Although
I need my own commentator beside me.
Yeah, exactly. So, any plans for the rest of the week, Andy?
Nah, quite a quiet weekend, or quite a week actually, or quiet-ish. I've got clients tomorrow, 5-a-sides tomorrow night, and then some clients on Saturday morning, and I think that's about it. So yeah, how about yourself? Have you got much on?
Record filming workouts again tomorrow, as you do.
Yep.
And I am actually, it's looking quite nice and sunny here, and my dog needs a walk, so I'll be going out with him later. And then my normal quiet weekend, which I'm really pleased about. Actually, I quite like a chilled weekend. I think that works well.
It's always good. Yeah, I'll be probably doing a bit of prehab and rehab stuff, so keep on top of that.
Is this for your not shoulder? What is it that you've?
No, it's actually it's for my knees. It's kind of knee stuff again. It's kind of just keeping myself ticking over more than anything else. Just my whole body, keeping it mobile. So obviously, when you go away and do a course, you end up going and doing you end up picking bits from other people and stuff. So things like learning how to floss my sciatic nerve and stuff like that. So I've been bringing that into my training alongside some other stuff to help my knees. So a lot of mobility stuff for my hip flexors, etc. And it's just nice, simple stuff as well. So be bringing that back in.
I went through a stage of doing knee flossing each day for my. I thought it was maybe my sciatic nerve that was problem. It was my SI joint. I actually did end up aggravating. This typical me. It's like, I think maybe that pain, and actually it didn't help in that situation. It is a good thing to do. You hear people that think they've got tight hamstrings, and actually start doing the
Yeah.
flossing, and then suddenly they've got more freedom. As I proved, it's a good idea if you're having like an active flare or something to maybe just check it is your sciatic nerve.
Yeah,
But
well, that's it. It's
I mean, you don't
yeah, I've
make it any
been
worse.
trying. Yeah, exactly. So, well, the big one is sciatic. Anything sciatic. If you stretch it, it's going to antagonize it. But if you try and move it, it should be okay. But
Yeah.
you don't want to antagonize any sciatic issues. That's not fun.
Oh, you hear, I mean, there's so many different levels of sciatica, aren't there? And the worst is you struggle to walk, around
Mm.
and get up. So, oh, well, look, I hope that you enjoy your flossing later, the
Yeah.
other type
Well,
of
we'll see. We'll
flossing,
see.
not the teeth. Cool. Well, anything else you want to say, Andy, before we wrap it up? I feel like it's
No,
about Joe Wicks today.
mainly
Poor
with Joe
guy.
Wicks, the Joe Wicks episode.
It's Joe. Giving
Wicks
us.
the wank. That's probably you can title it that.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody, he needs a better team. I just would like to know
He's,
who's
I
good.
don't. The thing is, it's so very, very good, but I think he's probably a bit like Trump. Just doesn't listen to his team.
Well, I just find it weird yeah, I find it weird because you're kind of thinking,
Or
oh, he's hired people like him.
they're all as fucking cuckoo as he is.
I'm just kind of picturing it. And I think I'd always want to make sure that what I'm putting out is the right information. And so if I was ill-informed on everything, I'd want somebody to pick
Yeah.
me up on it and
Well,
then own
with a
it.
lot of this stuff, you kind of want to have somebody who is. You want some people that are going to tell you no, not just people that keep saying yes, yes, yes. You need
Yeah.
some people to actually tell you, do you think that's actually a good idea? Really? So yeah, so I think I don't know if he has that around him, which is probably the biggest issue.
Yeah, I think that probably is the biggest issue, is the fact that there's not a good team to give him that guidance. So that's it. Let's petition for Joe Wicks to get some advisors.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. Well, thank you, Andy. Do you want to do the honours of telling people where they can find us if they have anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
You, as always, if you are listening to this, give us a like, give us a share, give us a 5-star review. You can write whatever you want in the comments. Just
As
it
long as
makes
it's nice.
no, it actually doesn't need to be nice as long as the 5 stars are there. You can literally write whatever you want. So yeah, it's good for the algorithm for people that might be needing some help, or if you want to take a screenshot of the pop wherever you take your podcast from, share it on Instagram, and then tag us in it. Ruth is at Ruth Mac with an MAC fit, and I'm Andy_Wolfpack. As always, we'll try and get back next week. Apologies for last week, but I was solo daddy duties, so kind of lost track of the week. So hopefully get in next week and we can get another podcast done.
That sounds like a very good plan. And hopefully there's more than just Joe Wicks in the world and we'll find something else to talk to you about.
Woohoo!
Yay! Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Magic. Ciao, ciao.